Alrighty, hey there guys, Casa here, aka JediBro95, coming at you guys with another video. So in this video, guys, I'm going to be doing my updated rankings for every single theme team in Madden 23. I do have some rules and things and whatnot I'm going to be talking about once I do the intro, guys, but I'll finish up the intro. But basically, I'm going to try continuing to remember to do these after every major promo. So like, for example, we just wrapped up Most Feared. Recording this on the 31st right now. The LTDs are still in packs, but they're going to be out of packs within the next couple of days at the very least. And then we're going into the All Madden Part 2 coming this Thursday. And then we're going to have not Most Feared Harvest at the end of November. Then we're going to have Zero Chill. Then we'll have playoffs and Super Bowl, Combine, Sugar Rush, Draft, Golden Tickets, and then the end of the year. So once they announce content's done. So basically, yeah, I definitely do want to do these at least at the end of every single one of those. So before we get going into it, guys, as I mentioned, let's talk about the rules. So number one, this is going to be including no fillers. So there's not going to be any fillers on the theme teams. You're not going to be, they're not going to, I'm not going to include, say, like free cards, like a free kicker, like Zane Gonzalez on the Cowboys theme team. I'm just not going to do that because he doesn't get, Dallas Cam. I'm not going to include that. I don't want to get any comments like, oh, if you just upgrade this, then the team will be better. No, that's not how that works, Number two, guys, on this thing is the fact that team captains will not count unless they played for that specific team. So, for example, Sam Adams will only be featured on the Bengals, Ravens, Seahawks, and Broncos theme teams. They will not be included in any other theme team ranking. So I know, again, those defensive tackles, I know a lot of people have that Sam Adams team captain, and rightfully so. I do as well for the Seahawks theme team. But I did that because he was obviously a Seahawk. So there is that. Also, next thing on this list for the big thing is obviously, certain positions are going to have bigger value than others. I'm obviously going to value the whole lineup, like kicker, linebackers, and offensive linemen. I know those are the three that people don't care about. I do when it comes to rankings. But obviously, if you don't have a higher ranked quarterback, your team's not going to be ranked very, very highly, right? So, like, for example, there's a couple of theme teams out there where their starting quarterback for their theme team is an 85 overall, right? I'm not going to say that they're an A tier theme team or an S tier theme team just based on that alone. But also likewise, but also vice versa, if you have a really, really good quarterback, like a 93, 92, 93 overall quarterback, but you have like a gold receiver as your third option on your receiving core, I'm not gonna rank that team very highly either on offense, right? But with that in mind, guys, let's start off with the Tennessee Titans. I think they got a new card today for AKA, so but moving on, we got Steve McNair, guys, obviously one of the best quarterbacks in the game, definitely not the best because you do have John Randall. I got Kevin Carter for the Team Diamonds promo, and then Javon Curse. Why did I say Jermaine? Derrick Henry, Most Feared running back, came out obviously with the Most Feared promo. Then you got Charlie Joyner, Randy Moss, and Randy Moss is not the greatest anymore, and I would even say Derek Mason is still pretty trash. So receiving core does leave a little bit to the desire, though. Tight ends, though, they got really good tight ends with Jamie Gillis, Delaney Walker, and Dave Casper. I'm not really the biggest fan of multiple tight ends, but I mean, you could definitely work with, like, say, Randy in the slot and have like one of the three tight ends out there. Offensive line, it's solid. It actually is pretty still good. I do like the Titans' offensive line overall. For their defense, guys, front four, they got Kevin Carter, as I mentioned, and Javon Curse. Jeffrey Simmons is also really, really good. Cameron Wake is not a bad pass rusher with 82 finesse move and 87 speed. Bud Dupree is okay. Linebackers, they really don't have very good ones. Harold Landry, he actually does play for the Titans. Then you got Jalen Brown for them as well. Samari Rule, Desmond King, and Randy Moss cornerbacks. Yeah, not the greatest of corners. Desmond King and Randy Moss are still on the lower side. Free safety, though, they get Kevin Byard, but they still have a Manu Hooker starting at their strong safety. So the Titans are going to be in the C tier. Honestly, they definitely need some secondary pieces. Like obviously corner. safety even. Like, they do need some secondary help, and they do need another receiver. They do need another receiving option for them. Not that isn't a tight end. So that is what I think of the Tennessee Titans. Let's talk about the Miami Dolphins. Miami, Dante Culpepper, again, one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the entire game. Larry Zonka, he actually has a team captain this year, as you can see right here. But obviously, it is what it is with those. You don't really have to have Larry Zonka as running back. You can have him as fullback, right? Receivers, Mark Clayton, Tyreek Hill, and Brandon Marshall are pretty good wide receiver trio. Obviously, Tyreek and Mark Clayton are very, very small. I think Mark Clayton, if I remember correctly, is 5'10", or 5'9". Yeah, he's 5'9". If we could just scooch that over a bit. Pardon me. He's 5'9". So, tight end, Mike Gesicki's an okay tight end. You also got Keith Jackson, which is not a bad one either. Offensive line, they do need some upgrades, especially in the the right tackle and the center position. They do need some stuff there. In terms of the defensive front, Kevin Carter, again, is a really, really good pass rusher. Emmanuel Ogba is also still solid. Devon Godcho is pretty bad now. Cameron Wake, as I mentioned earlier. Robert Quinn is also very, very good right now for the Dolphins. Kiko Alonso, not a bad card for a free card from the All Madden from the Hispanic Heritage Month. He's not terrible. He just doesn't get lurker, which does make him a little bit worse. Then you got Melvin Ingram for the new what's it called, LTD that came out today. However, cornerback, this team is terrible. This team does not have a good secondary whatsoever. I probably would just use Eric Allen as a team captain on this team, but he's not going to be included. Eric Rowe is also pretty slow nowadays. I've heard Javon Holland still plays very, very good. And obviously Sammy Knight still plays, is a team diamond. He just came out recently. So you could probably put Sammy Knight to strong safety if you really want to increase to make the strong safety a little bit better. But this team is definitely missing a couple of pieces. So for that, they're also going to be a C tier theme team. They need a corner, like, really, really bad. They need a Byron Jones, or they need a Xavier Howard, or just anything of that nature, man. Because, yeah, I'm looking at this team, and, Bobby McCain looks like the best corner that they've got. So, not very good for them. Looking at now the New York Jets. Let's have a look at the Jets real quick. So, Fitzmagic and Vic, pretty good, good quarterback duo. Matt Forte, I had no idea he played for the Jets, to be completely honest. I always thought he was a Bear. Obviously, we all know LT was a Bear, was a Jet as well. Pretty tall receivers for the Jets team, if I do say. Like Keyshawn Johnson, Brandon Marshall, and Plaxico Burress, all 6'4" and taller. Yeah, Plaxico, Brandon Marshall, Keyshawn is 6'4", so you got a lot of good receivers there. Hell, even this Sauce Gardner is still pretty viable in certain aspects. Lawrence Cager's okay, tight end. Offensive line, though, like, they do have a couple of things they do need. Obviously, Connor McGovern is not the greatest of centers right now, but, Pat Elflein can easily move here. And then maybe you could put Alan Faneca to left tackle. And work with that as an offensive line. So you can definitely move some things around with the Jets theme team for offensive line play. However, the pass rush for the Jets is where the defense of the Jets is a little bit on the worse side. Leonard Williams is not the greatest of pass rushers. He just isn't. Quincy Williams, also, you're not going to get anything out of him. CJ Mosley is okay. Quan Alexander as weak side linebacker is pretty bad. Now, their secondary is really, really good. I will say that. Ty Law and Revis Island are both really, really good. And then Sauce Gardner is also a really good option at corner. Even if you want to save a little bit of points, DJ Reed can do some work at slot corner if you really, really want to. Ed Reed and Jordan Whitehead at safety. You got Victor Green and Steve Atwater for safeties. So, defensively, this team is really, really good. They just don't have very good pass rushers. But I still think this team is definitely worthy of an A tier spot, just because they do not have, if they had one or two more pass rushers, I could seriously consider this team to be an S tier theme team. Right now, they're really, really good. They don't have a very high kicker, but right at the moment, obviously like Nick Folk should probably get a card soon, but who knows what happen to see, we'll see what happens when we get there. But I like the Jets team. I like the roster that they have for them. So let's look now at the Cincinnati Bengals, last year's Super Bowl runner-ups. They too also have Ryan Fitzmagic. You're going to be seeing Fitzmagic a lot in this video because he played for like 10 teams, it seems like. He's got 9 team camps, actually. Joe Cool as well. Mixon, they still haven't gotten a running back upgrade to launch, which is kind of nuts. But the Bengals have started to get some receivers after Chad Johnson. They got Jamar Chase and Charlie Joyner, which are both really, really good fast receivers. In the case of Jamar Chase, and the two of them, they're both really, really small. CJ Uzama, they definitely need a tight end. Offensive line, though, definitely need a center upgrade, but, Alex Kappa is still somewhat good. And then, Willie Anderson is really, really solid as well. You could also put this Layla Collins to left guard and put him here if you want an upgrade there. Defensively, though, this team does not have the best of defenses, I will say. Sam Hubbard, not the greatest. Sam Adams and DJ Reader, solid big defensive tackles. Trey Hendrickson is still okay. This Trey Hendrickson, 89 finesse move and 82 speed is still pretty solid. Clay Johnson, this is not very good. Jermaine Pratt is also not very good. And then their secondary is less than desirable with guys like Troy Hill, Darquise Dennard, and Mike Hilton. Jesse Bates still hasn't gotten a card. Von Bell, he got an 86 Gridiron Guardians card, but he's still okay at best. There is a lot of things on here that you don't really see a whole lot of good things about it, especially on the defensive side. Offensively, this team is great, but defensively, this team's not that good. So for me, they're going to go in the B tier. That's basically where they're at for them. Speaking of the Ohio natives, let's look at Cleveland. So Bernie Kosar, I heard he's got some good abilities. What does this Bernie Kosar get for abilities? Because I actually have no clue. So he gets discounted 2 AP Fearless for his special ability. Also does get 2 AP Quick Draw. So, not terrible. Baker is still garbage, so it is what it is with him. Raheem Mostert's a fast running back, but considering the backs that we have now, I wouldn't say he's that fast. Wide receiver, the Browns' offense for wide receivers is bad. Offensively, this team is terrible. They've got some good interior line play, but after that, the Browns' offense is terrible, and I don't know if it gets any better on the defensive side. Clowney is still okay. Clowney is a solid pass rusher. I actually do really, really like Clowney as a player. Ty McGill Jr. looks all right with a 91 block shot and 89 and a 90 power move. They just got a new Myles Garrett with the most feared promo, which I think is a really, really probably the best pass rusher in the game, not named Leonard Floyd right now. Carl Banks, he's all right. New Deion Jones with their upgrade with the most feared promo after acquiring him in a trade. Clay Matthews, 90 finesse move, 85 speed, but the problem with this Clay Matthews is the price of this card. He is still going for about 700 to 600K, so I wouldn't even bother with it. Then secondary-wise, again, we're looking at a team that just does not have good secondary pieces. Jordan Poyer is pretty good as a user card, and you can let him roam around at safety and maybe put Grant Delpit to free safety, but secondary cornerback specifically, they don't have very many. They don't have a good cornerbacks. In terms of also they do actually get Zane Gonzalez, which is one of the best kickers in the game right now, if not the best, because he's completely free. But overall, the Browns are definitely a B tier. They could be honestly a C tier theme team, low key. I do think they have a lot of solid pieces, but nothing to really help them put it together, especially offensively. They have no receivers right now. Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Jarvis Landry are just god-awful receivers right now. So Cleveland, yeah, that is basically where they're at. Jacksonville. Now, Trevor Lawrence from the competitive pass. This is a bit of a problem with this one because obviously if you're just coming into MUT now, if you don't have the competitive pass, you're not getting the competitive pass players. So obviously, you're not going to get Trevor Lawrence is what I'm trying to say. But Leonard Fournette is pretty good. Receivers, though, yeah. Allen Robinson's good. Laviska Shenault is pretty good as well. Is pretty solid, I mean, but yeah, nothing that pops off the screen. Evan Ingram is also a really, really good tight end. Tony is a good tight end. I mean, not a really good. Tony Baselli, Andrew, the offensive line for the Jaguars is pretty good. Obviously, they do need an upgrade at right tackle. Defensively though, they got some solid big guys and some solid pass rushers. Yannick Ngakoue is okay. But in terms of other like pass rushers, this Josh Allen is really, really good on the edge. Miles Jack can be somewhat competent for you if you're looking for a lurker linebacker. Foydaze Olakun is just not good whatsoever. Defensively, though, their secondary is really, really good with Jalen Ramsey, Shaq Griffin, and Sidney Jones as top 3 corners. I still think the Sidney Jones is very viable right now. Sammy Knight is also really, really good, but strong safety is where they just do not have one. So, yeah, but this team is definitely not the greatest. They're going into C tier as well. They still have a lot of holes. They need a strong safety. They need a wide receiver. They need pass rush. They need a lot. Now let's look at the Detroit Lions. And low-key, the Detroit Lions, don't sleep on this Lions team, So, Dante Culpepper, again, in contention for a top quarterback in the game. You also have Barry Sanders and DeAndre Swift, which are still pretty good running backs. I don't know who I would honestly start. Megatron Herman Moore, 91 and 90 speed at 6'4" and 6'5". Very, very good. Obviously, DJ Chark isn't the greatest either. Isn't the greatest speed threat, but Amon-Ra St. Brown, I'm pretty sure he does get slot apprentice. So I would actually probably play. Yeah, he does get slot apprentice. So I would actually probably start Amon-Ra St. Brown over DJ Chark personally. But Pete Metzelaars and Jimmy Giles is really good tight end duo if you want to go that route. Play a lot of 2 tight ends. Offensive line, they do need some guard, a left guard and a right guard and a left tackle. I mean, but the Lions' offense is pretty good, but their defense is where they actually kind of don't really have the best, I would say. Haloti Naga is a good run-stuffing D tackle. Dwight Freeney and Aiden Hutchinson are really, really good. But linebackers, they don't really have a good linebacker. Wait, what? Oh, why do they have Aiden Hutchinson as a left outside linebacker here, but then they have him as weird? We got Kyle Van Noy for them as well. Cornerbacks, Amani Oruwariye is definitely not getting any better. Night Train Land is pretty solid, and so is Jeff Okuda. Hopefully they get a Darius Slay soon. And then for defensively, they have Glover Quinn and Quandre Diggs. You could put Glover Quinn to a strong safety if you want an upgrade there. But the Lions, I'm putting in the B tier. I like the Lions team. They have a lot going on with them. I think they're just missing one, a pass rusher from them to be a solidifiable, closer to A team than anything. So that's my take on the Lions team. Just give me one quick second here. All right, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. So let's look at the Minnesota Vikings team. Minnesota's got some good players on their team. I don't necessarily know how good, though. So, again, Dante Culpepper, really, really good. Cordero Patterson, this free Cordero, getting a free backfield master. A backfield mismatch for 3 AP is pretty good. This Dalvin Cook is also really solid as well. I actually probably would start the Dalvin just because of the speed. Stephon Diggs, one of the best receivers in the game. I also got Randy Moss and Justin Jefferson, which, with the speed boost, they're obviously going to be higher speed, but obviously, you're not looking for that. They actually do have Dave Casper on the team. He actually did play for the Vikings at one point, as you can see. Yep, 1983 right here. Played for the Minnesota Vikings. So, Dave Casper. Offensive line, though, Randall McDaniel was in contention for the best guard in the game. Gary Zimmerman, Garrett Bradbury, Tom Compton, you could easily put the right guard. And then, so you got a really good offensive line with the Minnesota Vikings team. Definitely like what I'm seeing from them on that. Defensively, though, John Randall, Ty McGill, really, really good pass rushers, or a really good big defensive lineman in the middle there. You also got Michael Pierce, who is a big body in the center there. Chad Greenway, I don't necessarily know. Does he get any, lurker? Does he get, lurker and something? Yeah, he does get 1 AP lurker, so you can have him out there as a user, as well as, I believe, Jordan Hicks. I think he's the other lurker for linebacker that is in the game, for his player-specific abilities, 2 AP lurker for Jordan Hicks. Zadarius Smith is also a good pass rusher. So you got some good pass rushers. You got some good linebacker play. Cornerback, though, this is where the team's visible weakness is in the secondary. More specific, secondary in general. Patrick Peterson is good, but 91 speed is fine. But then you go to Cameron Dantzler 90 speed, then Randy Moss 87 speed, which is like you could play him at slot corner, but I don't necessarily know if that's a great idea. I don't know if that's going to be work out viable long term. Xavier Woods is a Viking. Did not know that. And then you got Cordell Patterson and Harrison Smith. So obviously you got some actual good players around. But so Minnesota, I'm gonna put them in the A tier. I'm putting Minnesota in A tier. I think Minnesota actually is very slept on. I think they are a good team, and I would not be surprised if they actually got one more upgrade or two by the time Harvest comes out. I would not be shocked if they got another upgrade and they would ultimately get an A or S tier. I would not be shocked. Let's look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next. So the Bucks, again, Ryan Fitzpatrick, again, you're going to be seeing him a lot. So they also just got the brand new Shady McCoy today, which is in contention for the best back in the game, which I probably would not disagree. Personally, I think, 94 speed and whatnot is really, really solid. Receivers, though, they don't have any. You don't have good receivers. Keyshawn Johnson, 89 speed, which is great, but after that, Mike Evans and Scotty Miller is really, really bad. Jimmy Giles is not very good. Randall McDaniel, again, good offensive line here. Defensively, though, Kevin Carter is really good. Warren Sapp is still great. Akeem Hicks you can put in at rush DT. And have Shaq Barrett on the other edge. Devin White for the Monster Maker was actually really solid. Jonathan Cialis you can have too. You also got Revis Island, which is pretty good, but then Carlton Davis is not that great anymore. Whitehead is pretty good, but so the Buccaneers defense and offense, the Bucs are actually going into the low B tier. I would argue that they're not. I would argue that they're better than Cincinnati, but not by much. The Bucs team desperately needs a pass catcher, particularly in the wide receiver category, because they just do not have one. So there is that. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. I had to do something real quick. Let's check out the San Francisco 49ers team. So they still have Joe Montana from the what's it called? All Madden first drop. That's still their best quarterback. Jim Plunkett is actually a good budget quarterback for the Niners team. For running backs, they did just get Christian McCaffrey. They finally updated his chem to give him San Francisco 49ers chem. Joe Perry was their team diamond, but receivers, this team is actually really, really set up pretty well. Michael Crabtree and Deebo Samuel are still very, very good receivers. And then Jerry Rice is just the best receiver in the game right now with being the first receiver to get route tech. Delaney Walker is really, really good for tight end. And they also just got George Kittle for most feared. Offensive line, they desperately need a center. But overall, this team is very, very, very good on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, I think they're a little bit better. They could be worse, but I think they're a little better. Eric Armstead, DeForest Buckner, Nick Bosa. This Nick Bosa is actually really, really good with 88 speed and 92 finesse move. You also have Fred Warner, which does need a card soon. Hopefully he gets one. For the secondary, though, Deion Sanders, level 50 reward. Sam Womack is still a very good, solid slot corner, but after that, DeQuise Denard is not the greatest. Travarius Ward probably could get the nod over him just because he is a little bit on the taller side. But, you could also put Rod Woodson in there too, because I completely forgot he gets cornerback for secondary. But you also need a second strong safety. So, but the Niners definitely are an A tier. I think their offense alone is very, very well set up to where they definitely deserve to be in the conversation as an A tier. Actually, you know what? Now I think about it more, let me put them in B. Let me put them in the high B. I think they are better than the Lions. I think they need to get a cornerback upgrade to be put into A tier. And then obviously, if they can get something better, that would be ideal. So Atlanta is the next theme team. Probably the most improved theme team from the last video, because Atlanta really just did not look very good. Michael Vick is still their top quarterback. Dickerson they just got for the Gridiron Guardians. But for the receivers, Julio Jones, ultimate kickoff, 88 speed. Drake London, 88 speed, not bad. Barati White, 93 speed at 6 foot tall, 6 feet flat. Really good speed with him. But they also did get Kyle Pitts, and they still do have Tony Gonzalez. Tony Gonzalez is not the worst tight end. I think he isn't bad. He isn't great, but he's not the worst. But Kyle Pitts is obviously probably the best tight end in the game right now, just because of 93 speed. Then you got offensive line. They're a bit better. Tom Compton, again, he's another player you're probably going to see a lot of just because of the fact that Tom Compton is, made a lot of teams. But the offense for the Atlanta Falcons is a lot better than what it was. Defensively, though, they've gotten a bit better. They do have a bit better stuff on the defensive side, starting with the Dwight Freeney and Grady Jarrett at some good rush for some good quarterback pressure. Devondre Campbell last week got a guard. He's really, really good. I love these two linebackers with Deion Jones and Devondre Campbell in the interior on the middle linebacker. You got Clay Matthews for the Falcons as well. Not that one, his father. Then for the secondary, D'Angelo Hall was their team diamond, as well as obviously Deion Sanders was drafted by the Falcons. Wait. Yes, he was drafted by the Falcons. Obviously, Casey Hayward is also not the greatest anymore. Free safety, they do need one. But obviously, you could just put Lawyer Malloy or Keanu Neal to free safety. I probably would put Lawyer and keep playing Cordero. But the Falcons are definitely a B-tier team. Now, I don't think they're better than the Lions, but they are better than their division rival Buccaneers. I think for the Falcons team, if I was a Falcons team, I would be asking for maybe a pass rusher. I would be hoping for a pass rusher, maybe a cornerback as well, maybe get a second or third cornerback, but I'm loving where the Falcons are at, definitely overall. Speaking of teams, let's talk about the Ravens. They're probably one of the best teams. They're going to be probably an S tier because their team is just so good. McNair and Lamar Jackson, quite a great quarterback duo. Ricky Williams is still a viable option, which is the crazy thing. Ricky Williams is still viable. Jacoby Jones and Michael Crabtree are very, very good. Obviously, you could you have Marquise, Derek Mason at third receiver, but you could easily start Marquise Brown over him. Todd Heap is really, really good. You could put him at the slot receiver if you want and get the slot apprentice for 1 AP. Willie Anderson is still very, very good. Willie Anderson obviously is a good player. That's what I was trying to say. Offensively, the Ravens offense is incredibly good. Defensively, though, I think they're just as good. Obviously, with Sam Adams and Haloti Naga in the middle. T. Sizzle is probably still one of the better pass rushers in the game. Getting unpredictable for 0 AP is such a huge deal. Basically getting free abilities, getting a free ability to make it so that way your opponent's lineman can't really, build up resistance. CJ Mosley and Ray Lewis are a really good linebacker duo. Zadarius Smith is another good edge rusher, so you got some good interior pressure, you got some good edge pressure. Secondary, Chris McAllister, Samari Roll, and Deion Sanders are all great. Ed Reed and Rod Woodson are a really good safety duo, and you can easily put one of them here. And then they got that best kicker of all time. So yes, the Ravens are clearly S tier. I love this Ravens team overall. I really don't think at the moment they need much of anything apart from maybe a offensive lineman. But I've said this on videos before. Like, I feel like if you are asking for offensive linemen at that point, I feel like you're so set that you don't really need to be worrying about your team that much, Anyways, let's look at them Chicago Bears. So Chicago, Justin Fields, okay, I know a lot of people shit on this Justin Fields card. I actually think he's not terrible. I actually do think this Justin Fields actually has some viability. Obviously, he doesn't get the greatest of abilities overall, but I do like long-range Deadeye to a point. I do like the red zone Deadeye in certain situations, but, it is what it is there. But they got some good running backs with Matt Forte and Gary and Walter Payton. Brandon Marshall, they got an upgrade for receiver for, but yeah, the Bears receivers are not the best. Greg Olsen is a good tight end for them, as well as Iron Mike Ditka. So you can have a lot of good 2 tight end sets if you want. In terms of offensive line, again, a solid offensive line. Definitely do need some upgrades around there, especially with the right guard. Defensively, though, this is where the Bears make their money, which is obviously what they're known for mostly is their defense. So Julius Peppers and William Perry are really, really good pass rushers, depending on where you put them. Robert Quinn is a very good pass rusher, is a solid pass rusher still. Leonard Floyd's the best pass rusher in the entire game. Roquan Smith, who was just traded to Baltimore, I completely forgot to mention that until right this moment. He will be getting Ravens camp too soon, so more than likely Roquan will be getting. So more than likely you should be able to add him soon. Khalil Mack should be getting an upgrade anytime. But make no mistake, this team does have a lot of good pass rushers. They have a lot of good defensive line play. Now, in terms of their secondary, this team is actually pretty good. They got Tracy Porter, who's probably the best cornerback in the game. Charles Tillman, I take that back. Charles Tillman is the best cornerback in the game. But he costs like 2 million coins. Justin Fields is a very, very solid cornerback as well. He is 6'3", so that does kind of make up for his smaller stature. And then for the safeties, Eddie Jackson does need a new card like immediately, or give him an Adrian Amos, and then Cordero Patterson is very, very good as well. But I like the Bears theme team. This one's probably going to be a controversial take for myself personally, but I'm putting the Bears in the high Bs. I think they're actually better than Detroit. I'm gonna say that as a theme team. The only problem with the Bears theme team is they just do not have a wide receiver. If they got a third wide receiver, like they got, say, oh my, what are some Bears wide receivers that I can think of? You get what I mean. Like if the Bears got some wide receiver, Devin Hester, completely don't want to why I blanked on him until like right now. If they got a Devin Hester receiver card, I think they could be so much better. But the Bears are a sneaky good team. They're actually pretty solid. Next up, we'll go to the Dallas Cowboys. So Bernie Kosar did not know he played for Dallas, so that is actually kind of interesting. Emmitt Smith, again, another conversation for the best running back in the game. I don't even think this card's better than Edgerrin James, personally. I just don't. Receivers, Keyshawn Johnson, again, 89 speed, so he'll be 91 on the Cowboys team. Harold Carmichael, the tallest receiver in the game, or not even receiver, tallest player in the game. Well, at least close to. I think Parham is also 6'8". And then Kevontae Turpin. So you got some solid receivers here too. Jason Witten, you can actually put as your slot receiver because he actually does get slot apprentice for 1 AP, as you could see here. You could also rock with Iron Mike Ditka. Offensive line for the Cowboys has always been spectacular. They always have one of the best O-lines in the game. Because obviously, historically speaking, they just have really good offensive lines. Defensively, though, the Cowboys definitely do have some good pass rushers. DeMarcus Lawrence is still a viable interior presence in certain cases. I think he does get inside stuff for his discounted, or is it no outsiders? He does get inside stuff for 2 AP, so that's still viable for me personally, putting in my Rush DT. The new Ed Tudor Jones just came out today, so he's got a good tall pass rusher there. Sam Williams isn't that bad with 90 power move. Moving on, DeMarcus Ware is still incredibly good. Middle linebackers, though, Leighton Vander Esch definitely does need, they definitely do need a linebacker card upgrade. I don't think, he does not get Lurker, so that's obviously a big L. Cornerbacks, though, holy shit, this Cowboys team does suffer really bad in terms of cornerbacks. Outside of Deion Sanders, they're pretty shit. And I'm not even saying that to be mean. I'm literally saying that because that's what's on my fucking screen right now. Malik Hooker from the Comp Pass. I can tell you, I got this card, personal experience. This Malik Hooker was actually pretty good. I just ended up having to quick sell him because he was only going to be in the lineup until I got Lawyer Malloy. Xavier Woods is also really good. That is also, again, 89 speed. But the Cowboys, they're a B tier theme team. I would say the Lions are better, low key. I would say the Lions are better. Just because their defense on the Lions is just a small fraction better. They need corners. The Cowboys need corners. Anyways, let's look at the train wreck known as the Screwston Texans. So Houston, again, Ryan Fitzmagic, whatever. You might as well just be a team captain next year. Like, good lord. Jacoby Jones, I never realized he was a Texan. I learned something today. Wow. Anyhow, Brandon Cooks and Derek Mason. Cooks is okay. Mason is so. Tight ends are garbage. Like the offensive line is okay. Defensively though, go back up. JJ Watt's not terrible. JJ Watt's still pretty good. Clowney is still pretty solid. You had some good pass rushers for them. Brian Cushing was their team diamond. Does he even get lurker at all? He does for 2 AP, so he can at least animate with you if you have that. Secondary, yeah, this team is pretty bad. They do have Tyrann Mathieu and Ed Reed. So you have those, but the Texans are C. The Texans are C tier. There's a lot of holes on this roster: cornerback, wide receiver, tight end, running back. Like there's a lot of holes on the Texans. Indianapolis. Let's look at the Colts. So their Colts, Burt Jones. Again, I don't think I've talked about this card. This card's really good. I've heard a lot of good things about this Burt Jones. He gets quick draw for 1 AP. You can also get things like set feet lead if you want to. So you can do 5 AP set feet lead, or you can do 5 AP set feet lead or 5 AP quick draw, depending on how you do it. He also does get fearless actually, so he's one of the few quarterbacks that can get set feet lead and fearless. Really good 1-2 running back duo with Edgerrin and Eric Dickerson. I would start Edgerrin just because the running back apprentice and the backfield master. Colts receivers suck. Holy crap, dude, the Colts receivers suck. Holy shit. Anyways, offensive line, they need a left tackle, but overall the offensive line for them is pretty good. Pretty good for them. Defense, Ty McGill and DeForest Buckner, good defensive tackle duo. Dwight Freeney is still very, very good. Hendricks is a fantastic user card. I would honestly think he's going to be significantly better on the Colts team. Bobby Okereke is also really, really solid. Is also pretty solid. And then defensively for the secondary, this team is not very good. So Colts are definitely going in C tier. I would say that they're slightly better than the Texans, but they ain't much better. In that aspect. Let's look at the Los Angeles Rams. So the Los Angeles Rams, reigning and defending Super Bowl champions. Don't know why it took me a little bit to figure that out. Burt Jones once again, Eric Dickerson once again. Receivers for them. Now this is something I learned recently. I never knew Dante Hall was actually a Ram at one point. I actually had no idea. Cooper Kupp still has yet to get an upgrade. Brandon Cooks is still viable. Is still somewhat viable, but Allen Robinson is not. Tyler Higbee is trash now. Joseph Noteboom is okay. Like for offensive line, they actually have an okay offensive line. I would say is actually a lot better than I gave it credit for. Kevin Carter for the Rams team diamond was really, really good. Obviously, Merlin Olsen's still very good. Aaron Donald still has yet to get an upgrade this year for some reason. Robert Quinn's good. Leonard Floyd, again, is one of the best pass rushers, if not the best pass rusher in the game. You also have Von Miller, who's really, really good. Fletcher and Wagner are a really good linebacker duo. And then secondary, you got Aeneas Williams, Jalen Ramsey, Night Train Lane. And then safeties, you got LaMarcus Joyner and Nolan Cromwell, Taylor Rapp as well. So, this team actually is okay. I think personally with them, I think they need a wide receiver. But I'm putting them in the B tier now. They're better than Cleveland and Cincinnati. That is for damn sure. They are better than Cleveland and Cincinnati. They're better than Tampa. Are the Rams team better than the Falcons? I would probably say no. Actually, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say they're better than the Falcons. And they're probably better than... No, I think... Because I'm looking at them, I think, they're better than the Cowboys too. Honestly, I think they're better than the Cowboys. Are they... Did they literally go on the top of B tier? Other than San Francisco? Because I think they're better than Chicago. I think they're better than... You know what? I'm going to say they're not better than... I'm going to say they're better than Chicago. However, I think, personally, if you want to say that Chicago is better, I would probably not disagree. But yeah, that is the Chicago Bears. Let's look on now at the Los Angeles Chargers. Where are... There they are. So Herbert, I've heard a lot of things about Herbert, but... I've heard a lot of things about people saying he's good, and then I've heard some people say he's fucking unusable, so that remains to be seen. But Herbert's still a very good card overall. Jacoby Jones was a Charger. Again, never knew that. Charlie Joyner, really, really good receivers. Mike Williams is still pretty bad. They do need another receiver there. Antonio Gates is a very good tight end with 89 speed on their team. Offensive line for the Chargers, really good. Really good. Zion Johnson, Storm Norton, Corey Linsley, Matt Fielder, and Rashawn Slater, all really, really good. All solid offensive linemen even right now. Moving on to the defense, Deacon Jones. Pretty good still for a pass rusher. 88 power, 86 finesse move. Ty McGill, obviously, really good for him. Dwight Freeney is, again, another really good pass rusher. Uchenna Nwosu, I like this card a little bit, but not too much. Denzel Perryman and Junior Seau, so they don't have really good linebackers. Thomas Davis is a good user card if you want to user him. Melvin Ingram just came out today. Cornerback, this is where the team's definite biggest weakness is in the secondary. Derwin is basically carrying the secondary on his back because this Adrian Phillips is terrible. The corners like Casey Hayward, Desmond King, and Bryce Callahan definitely do not leave much to be desired. So I would say that the Chargers are a B-tier theme team as well. I don't think they're better than the Rams. I probably would say they're better than Chicago, though. Probably not, but I'm going to go ahead and say that they are better than Chicago. Come on, there we go. Next, we got Oakland. We got the Las Vegas Raiders. Definitely probably going to be an S-tier theme team. Again, two quarterbacks that are really, really good. Derek Carr, I've heard a lot of people say he's not very good. Jerry Rice, Devontae Adams, Michael Crabtree. Yes, we all know the Raiders theme team. I'm not going to waste too much time on this. We all know the Raiders theme team is S-tier. They always are one of the best teams in the entire game. Every single year. Washington, we're going to move on to them because, quite honestly, I'm not going to waste your time. Washington, pardon me, Ryan Fitzmagic, again, really good. Antonio Gibson, not a bad running back with 89 speed. Receivers, though, yeah, Washington does not have very good receivers. Curtis Samuel is a little bit of a jolt for them, but John Dotson is definitely somebody that needs to get a card soon. Offensive line, they do have a really, really good offensive line with Tom Compton, Brian Sheriff, Russ Grimm, Andrew Norwell, and Trent Williams. So the Commanders are looking like a team that would be another one of those 50-25. You would pick the 25 of the Commanders, right? Deacon Jones for them as well. And then you got Matthew Lowen Itis. Okay, why not? That's it. Bruce Smith, Carl Banks again, London Fletcher, some good overall linebackers, some good overall play there. Cornerback. Now, this team's cornerbacks groupings is pretty damn good. Deion Sanders, Tracy Porter, LeAngelo Hall, and Champ Bailey, all really, really good. Bobby McCain is okay, but then Cameron Curl is definitely not the best. But I will say Washington does deserve to be in B tier. I think they do belong in B tier. They are better than the Chargers just because of are they though? I would say they're probably down here, low-key. Or higher above Dallas, but lower than Detroit. Because I think Detroit is actually very slept on. I think I said that earlier if I did not already. Detroit is very, very slept on. So we'll leave it there for now. Kansas City is next. So Kansas City, Pat Mahomes still has yet to get a card for some reason. But they also did get the brand new LaShawn McCoy today as well. Christian Okoye is a really good running back, fullback. Tyreek Hill and Dante Hall are really two good speedsters. Then you got the third receiver being Sammy Watkins or Juju Smith-Schuster isn't that great. Travis Kelce is a really good red zone threat. Tony Gonzalez is still pretty okay for them. Offensive line, they do need a right tackle, but otherwise, really, really good guards in Will Shields and Trey Smith. Creed Humphrey for the center. They have some really, really good pieces at their disposal for the offensive line. Defensively, though, for the Chiefs, George Karl Aftis. Now, this card right here we'll be able to get every single theme team chem that plays abroad this year. So, but he'll only be counted for the Kansas City Chiefs theme team. So again, keep that in mind. He'll only be counted for the Kansas City Chiefs theme team. We also got Emmanuel Ogbah, Melvin Ingram. Wait, is he not? Yes, he is. Okay, he is in Kansas City right now. We also got Chris Jones, who needs an upgrade soon. Frank Clark just got an upgrade. I love this Frank Clark card. Jerron Reed is also pretty solid. T Sizzle is, again, T Sizzle is really good. Mike Vrabel, I had no idea he played for Kansas City. I'm learning stuff today, guys. Derek Johnson, good linebacker. We also got Melvin Ingram here, as I talked about earlier. Now, quarterbacks. This team is pretty set for corners. Ty Law, Darrell Reeves, and L'Jarius Sneed are all really, really solid, if not great corners. You can put L'Jarius Sneed to slot corner. Sammy Knight and Tyrann Mathieu can easily be a great safety duo, but I like this Kansas City Chiefs team. I think they are an A tier. Are they S? Probably not. I think personally they're not S tier. I would probably say get at least a somewhat better, faster third receiver. Like if Juju Smith-Schuster had like 87 speed, I probably would say this is an S tier team. They're just so close. They're so close. But I do like Kansas City's team. I think they're really, really good. Next we've got New Orleans Saints. So they still have yet to get an upgrade from Jameis Winston since the last video I did on this team. Hopefully they will get a Drew Brees soon. A lot of Saints fans are wanting a Drew Brees card. Ricky Williams is pretty good. Michael Thomas, 80 speed, but 90 speed, but after that, Brandon Cooks is still pretty good, but Chris Olave is not the greatest. Jeremy Shockey is starting to actually lose a little bit of his steam. Like he's starting to not be as good as he used to be. Offensive line though, really good. Ryan Ramcheeks, Jari Evans, Jay Hillenberg, Andrews Pete, and Teron Armstead. All very, very, very good offensive linemen. Pass rushers. This is where the defense for the Saints is looking like it's okay. The Saints defense looking pretty solid overall. Al-Quaid Muhammad is pretty solid. Trey Hendrickson is still really, really good. Sam Mills, I don't know, does Sam Mills can he actually get? No, he cannot. So, Sam Mills not that great. Kiko Alonso, as I said earlier, isn't that great either. Jonathan Casillas is pretty good. Now for cornerbacks, Sammy Knight, Tracy Porter, Eric Allen, Chris McAllister, and Marshawn Lattimore. Probably would start Marshawn Lattimore over Chris McAllister just because of the speed. And then safeties, yeah. This defense, my apologies, I can't talk. This defense, make no mistake, and especially in the secondary, is very, very stacked. However, I don't think they're that highly ranked for me personally. I think they are a B tier team. I think they're like right about here. I think the Chargers may be a little bit better than them. They need some offensive weapons. They need a receiver. They need a better quarterback. They need some stuff. And speaking of teams who need quarterbacks, let's look at the Giants. Geno Smith. Remember when I talked about saying that, if you have a really low quarterback, can't be very highly. This is one of those times, guys. I cannot really, in good conscience, I'm not going to spend too much time on the Giants. Can't rank the Giants very high just because they just don't have a good quarterback. I understand they got a really good receiver. And they got a good pass catcher. They have an okay offensive line, but defensively they're pretty good too, but secondary-wise, they're also not that great. Pass rusher, I think they could use an upgrade as a pass rusher. Oh no, they have Michael Strahan. But yes, no, I'm putting them in the low Bs, probably around here. I would say they're better than the Tampa Bay, but I don't think they're higher than that. If they had a quarterback, I would probably consider this team a higher B tier, maybe above the Rams, but I don't think they're that good just because they have Geno Smith. And I don't hate Geno, it's just the fact that like Geno, obviously I don't hate Geno, but it's like his card is just not that great. Philadelphia Eagles is next. So Michael Vick, Jalen Hurts, pretty good. For running backs, now they got the new LaShawn McCoy. That's where obviously he made his name. Harold Carmichael and Devonta Smith for receivers, obviously with Nelson Aguilar as the third option. Probably going to be getting an A.J. Brown tomorrow because he had a really incredible game against the Steelers on Sunday where he had like 6 catches for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. I definitely do think that he is going to get a card this week. Personally, I think he's going to get a card this week. Jimmy Gills and Iron Mike Ditka for tight ends. Offensive line for the Eagles, really good. Really good. Obviously, they do need a right guard upgrade, but really good offensive line overall for them in that department. Now, defensively, this team is a menace on defense. Javon Curse and Reggie White, really good pass rushers. William the Fridge Perry and Ty McGill at the defensive tackle. They just got Robert Quinn this week. Seth Jordan is a really good user card. Hassan Reddick is also a really solid budget pass rush option. This team on the front four in terms of the pass rush is really, really good. Cornerbacks, Eric Allen is really, really good. He's going to have 92 speed on this team. Rasul Douglas with 90 speed. And then James Bradbury with 89 speed. You obviously could play Sidney Jones if you don't have that. And then safeties, Jordan Poyer, CJ Gardner-Johnson. I think the Eagles are an S tier. I think Eagles are an absolute clear S tier theme team. I think there's not many holes on this roster that you could honestly point to and say this is a problem with them, because quite honestly, yeah, the Eagles team is really, really good. Now let's look at their in-state team, the rival, the Steelers. So Vic, as I talked about earlier, again, another great quarterback. Jerome Bettis is pretty solid. Now receivers, wow, I'm pleasantly surprised with the receiver core. Plaxico Burress, Hines Ward, and Jacoby Jones. Really good. Really, really good. Pat Freiermuth is still a solid tight end. 84 speed. Could be better, but offensive line. Again, another team that is better than what I gave it credit for. You could easily put Penica to left guard and have Matt Feidler starting at left guard for them, or you can put him to center if you really want to. Either way, or right guard. Nah, you can put him to left guard because you have Trey Turner. Defensively though, Mean Joe Green is really, really good on the interior. Mike Vrabel or TJ Watt maybe is good on the outside. Miles Jack is really, really good on there as well. Melvin Ingram, they just got him today, but corners. This always seems to be a problem with the Steelers team is cornerback. They always seem to have very bad corners. And they could just never give them cornerbacks. I don't know what it is. But the Steelers team, because of that, they can't be an A tier. If they had two really, really good cornerbacks, I would honestly consider this team an A tier theme team. But corner-wise, I think the Steelers are about the Giants, like where the Giants are, in terms of the team. Like, they got really good pass rushers, they got really good front four and linebacker play. Offensively, this team is really good, but cornerbacks, they just don't have very high corners. So I'm actually going to put them about here. Yeah. All right, let's take a trip into Broncos country. So, obviously, John Elway, the clear-cut best quarterback in the game by a significant fucking margin. It is not close. This team is, John Elway, really, really good. But they also have Russell, if you do want to save some coins. Terrell Davis was their team diamond. I think this card's really, really good. Brandon Marshall, Cortland Sutton, and Jerry Jeudy. 3 really good receivers. I like this Brandon Marshall for an upgrade over Tim Patrick because Tim Patrick was not cutting it anymore. At least for the Broncos team that I had when I had it. I don't know if I'm gonna make it again this year. I more than likely won't. So don't hold your breath on that, guys. It's just unfortunately the way things are working out right now. Who knows? I'll probably do it around like Harvest or whatever. I'll probably look to do it again. But Noah Fant is really, really solid, okay? Garrett Bowles, offensive line, Tom Compton, Quinn Miners. They got some good, solid offensive line upgrades. Defensively, though, Sam Adams, DJ Jones, you could play them at, interior. You can even play Derek Wolfe at interior. Seth Joyner, Vaughn Miller, Shaq Barrett, DeMarcus Ware, Randy Gregory, really, really great pass rushers. Cornerbacks for the no-fly zone. Tracy Porter, Ty Law, Champ Bailey, all fucking great. And then Steve Atwater is still a very good safety. And then Justin Simmons does need a new card. But Broncos country does definitely deserve to be in the B tier, rightfully so, because they are Broncos. So they have B in their name. But where shall we be putting them is the question. Okay, that was terrible. Probably here. Are they better than Dallas? Probably. Yeah, we'll say they're better than Dallas. Next was the Packers team. The Packers is another team that historically gets pretty shafted in terms of like certain players. So Aaron Rodgers, he definitely needs a new guard soon. Hopefully he does get one. Aaron Jones is pretty good. Now, receivers. I'm actually quite surprised how good the receivers are for the Packers team. Usually they do not give Packers a lot of receivers, but they actually gave them Mark Clayton, Donald Driver, and Devontae Adams. They also got Keith Jackson, offensive line, really good once again. Forrest Gregg, Jari Evans, Corey Linsley, John Runyon, David Bakhtiari. Really, really good offensive line there. Julius Peppers and Reggie White, really good options on the interior for pass rushers. Jerron Reed is an okay guy in the middle with inside stuff. Hendricks and Joyner can be some good users. Same with Ray Nitschke and Devondre Campbell. Darius Smith is another great pass rusher. Cornerbacks, Charles Woodson, Jair Alexander, Rasul Douglas. Micah Hyde is also really, really good. But obviously this Adrian Amos is definitely not. But the Packers are definitely an A tier. They're definitely an A tier team. They do need to get a safety upgrade in order to be put into conversations for S tier. Or I forgot, you have Charles Woodson. You can easily put Charles Woodson at the safety position and play Casey Hayward at slot corner. So, or this Eric Stokes. This Eric Stokes is still pretty fast. 88 speed. You have him at slot corner. I think he'll be fine. So, the Packers are definitely better than the Vikings team, in my opinion. Probably better than Jets, but we'll get there when we get there. I'm not necessarily certain quite yet. Probably won't get back to it. So Carolina is next. Baker Mayfield recently just got benched for PJ Walker for the rest of the year, which is hilarious. Obviously Christian McCaffrey they just traded away, but he's still very, very good. Keyshawn Johnson, DJ Moore is not terrible, but Laviska Shenault is definitely not an upgrade. But tight ends, they got some really good tight ends with Pete Metzelaars, Greg Olsen, and Jeremy Shockey, so you can easily just put one of them at tight end, with one of those tight ends at your slot receiver for your team. Offensive line, really good. Their lowest is a core elite, 81 overall, so that's pretty solid. Defensively, again, Minister of Defense and Julius Peppers. It feels like these two are just following each other around. Actually, it's only been on the Packers and on the Panthers defensive on the teams. You get it. But Matthew, like I said, or like I was talking about earlier, Hassan Reddick, again, is really, really good. Luke Kuechly, probably the best user in the game right now with 90 speed at 6'3". He gets Lurker for 1 AP, I think, if you power this card up. If you power the guy up, he gets Lurker for 1 AP, which is pretty good. Also, Thomas Davis is a really, really good linebacker overall. Cornerback, Stephon Gilmore, Charles Tillman, Rasul Douglas, James Bradbury, Xavier Woods is a good free safety. But they do need a Jeremy Chain upgrade, which I think they could absolutely work with. But Enzane Gonzalez. But the Panthers are sneaky good. It's just Baker Mayfield isn't the greatest quarterback, so I'm actually going to put them down below Dallas just because of the quarterback. If they had a 90 overall quarterback, I think Baker would definitely be, not Baker. I think this team could be very much better. Arizona. Let's look at the Arizona Cardinals next. We're almost finished, guys. We got about 4 teams left. So Kyler Murray, really good. Edgerrin James and Emmitt Smith, good running backs. You also got some pretty good receivers still with Crabtree, Fitz, and Marquise Brown. We'll all have 90s plus speed on the Cardinals team. Todd Heap is really good. You also got DJ Humphries, Alan Fenica, some solid offensive linemen. They do need some lineman upgrades. Then we got JJ, Darnell Dockett was their team diamond, Dwight Freeney, Chandler Jones. Pass rushes were looking good. Linebackers over, even then T. Sizzle was a Cardinal, so you have an abundance of pass rushers to work with the Cardinals team. Even this Hassan Reddick is also good. Seth Joyner, Devondre Campbell, Jordan Hicks, Isaiah Simmons, great linebackers all the way around. Obviously Devon Kennard is not the greatest. Corners, Night Train Lane, Aeneas Williams, Patrick Peterson. And then you got for safeties, Budda Baker and Tyrann Matthews. Well, I'm actually going to put the Cardinals as an A-tier team. I actually really like the Cardinals team. This Cardinals team is sneakily good. Are they better than KC? No. Are they better than New York? Probably. So that's where I'm going to put them. Let me know in the comments if you guys disagree with that one. Right. We've got the Bills team. Bills are the next. This new Josh Allen with the field pass, obviously. Only gets Bills cam. I believe he gets Hot Route Master. I don't know. I actually got him today, but I ended up quick selling him. Yeah, he gets 4 AP Hot Route Master. You also got Shady in Beast Mode. Stephon Diggs is really, really good, but then you got Andre Reed and Robert Woods, which are not the greatest. Pete Metzelaars was the Team Diamond for them, so that's pretty good. Tremaine Edmonds, I've heard a lot of people talk highly about this Tremaine Edmonds at fullback. Offensive line is pretty good overall. I like the offensive line for them. For pass rushers, Sam Adams is great. Greg Rousseau is pretty solid now. The pass rusher. Bruce Smith still gets edge threat, so he's going to be a viable option. Von Miller, the newest Bill, is going to be pretty good as well for them. London Fletcher is pretty good as a user. Kiko Alonso, not so much. Tyler Matkovich, I mean, that's completely up to you. And then cornerbacks definitely do need an upgrade at corner with Tre'Davious White, Kyler Elam, and Stephon Gilmore. But then safeties, you got Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, and Lawyer Malloy. I didn't realize you can give Micah Hyde cornerback secondary, so you could probably put Micah Hyde to cornerback, put Kyler Elam as a slot corner, go from there. I think that would be pretty dope. But I like the Bills. I think they're a B tier theme team. I think they're upper part of B tier. I would probably say they're maybe better than the Niners, maybe, but I'm not gonna go there. Next, let's take a look at my Seahawks theme team. I love the Seahawks theme team. Russ is great. One of the best quarterbacks in the game. Edge is really, really good. You also got Beast Mode and Kenneth Walker. Receivers, we've gotten a lot of receivers over the last few weeks. Jerry Rice, Doug Baldwin, Brandon Marshall, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. Lots of great receiver options there. Greg Olsen and Pete Metzelaars for the tight end. Offensive line, though, yeah, the offensive line is definitely in the dumpster a little bit, especially on the left side of the line with Charles Cross and Damian Lewis as the top players. So pass rushers, you got guys like Clowney, Sam Adams, John Randolph, Dwight Freeney, Frank Clark, Jaron Reed even, Uchenna Nwosu in certain situations. You got Bobby Wagner as the starting middle linebacker, which you could only get for level 31 rewards. Right outside linebacker sucks for them. Cornerback, I mean, they could definitely use another corner, but they're still playing pretty good. And then obviously Quandre Diggs is pretty down there, but you can easily put Lawyer Malloy to free safety or Bam Bam Cam to free safety and start Cam Chancellor at strong safety. So I like the Seahawks team. I don't think they're S tier. I would argue that they're not better than any of the S tier theme teams. Are they the best of A? Are they the best of A? That is the question I am trying to think of. Because their receiver core alone makes them really, really good. And their pass rush makes them really, really good. I'm going to say they are. I'm going to say they're the best of A. And then lastly, guys, we've got the New England Patriots. So the Patriots, Drew Bledsoe, Cordero, not bad. I didn't know Keith Byers was a Patriot until like right now. Receivers though, oof. Definitely need a wide receiver upgrade for Patriots. Tight end, they got Hunter Henry. They definitely need a new tight end. Offensive line is usually pretty good for the Patriots. I'm trying to not yawn. I'm sorry. I know this says like Trent Brown is the starter for right tackle, but obviously Cameron Fleming would be their starter just simply because of the fact of. Wait, why does this have Broncos count, but he doesn't have Broncos count? Maybe it's because he just played for the Broncos, got on the Broncos. I don't know. But Patriots offense does need a receiver, but their defense is really good. Their defense is usually also one of the better ones in the game. Richard Seymour, I love this Richard Seymour card solely because of the defensive rally that you can get on him for the 0 AP. So if you have like a double or nothing on the defensive line, you literally can get a free defensive rally. Chandler Jones is a really, really good pass rusher. You play him on the interior this year because they made him a right end. Outside linebacker, Mike Vrabel is pretty good. Jonathan Casilla, whatever the frick this gentleman's name is. Linebacker is not the best. I just backed out. My apologies. Corners: Stephon Gilmore, Tyler Revis Island. All great cornerbacks. Top three, some of the better cornerbacks in the game. And then safeties, you can easily put Lawyer Malloy again to free safety, or put Victor Green. and start one of them. And you can easily put one of them here, start the other one at sub linebacker, and then put Cordero Patterson there. But the Patriots, I think they're an A-tier theme team. I probably would say they're maybe around the Packers area for theme teams. But anyways, guys, after a very long video, this is my final rankings after the most feared promo of the every single theme team in Madden 23. Do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments below, guys. Take a screenshot, post this on the socials. I don't care whatever you do with it. If you got any comments or concerns, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, or follow me on Twitter and have some conversations with me. Would like to hear from you guys. But until then, I'll see you all next time. I'm out. Peace.